From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your Evening Update.
Cascade Paint & Supply is Reading's oldest family-owned paint store, established in 1953. We are the largest Dunn Edwards dealer in the nation, and most of our products are made in the U.S. Our friendly and knowledgeable staff are ready to answer your questions and help you today.
Good evening, everyone. I'm meteorologist Mike Krueger. It was a mild start to the work week. What a beautiful start of the week, but we do expect a warming trend for the rest of the week with a mini heat wave peaking somewhere near the end of this week, and it'll probably extend into at least the first half of the weekend. But I do expect a cooling trend, and temperatures will most likely drop back down to around closer to normal, especially as we get closer to the middle of next week. So it's going to be up there for a little while here, even going through the weekend. Here's a look at your Krueger's Quickcast for your Monday, August 18th. We're going to start off with our temperatures for tonight, where temperatures are going to drop down to the upper 50s. So another coolish night, if you will, even for the valley. Otherwise, 40s and 50s for the higher elevations and low 50s. And maybe seeing some fog developing later tonight, although I do expect some clear skies for many of you, even along the coast for tonight. So here's a look at your forecast as you're heading out the door tomorrow morning. There may be some patchy fog for some of you along the coast, especially around Eureka, Humboldt Bay. But I do expect mainly clear skies for the rest of you and sunny skies for the higher elevations in the valley. And look at the valley, even at 8 o'clock in the morning, still at 65 degrees. So we're still seeing those mild morning temperatures. Now, it's all thanks to the area of low pressure that is spinning over the Gulf of Alaska. But that is going to start to move back up into Canada, and high pressure over the desert southwest will start to build back in. Now, before we get to that, let's take a look at Futurecast here. And you can see that, again, as we go into tonight, tomorrow morning, not much in the way of fog. I do expect to see clear skies for many of you. There may be some patchy fog for some of you, especially around Eureka, but I do expect more sunshine again here for your Tuesday afternoon. And then by Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, you can already start to see that fog beginning to develop. I do expect more of those overcast skies for many of you along the coast by the middle of the week. So for your Tuesday, temperature is going to be warming up a little bit here. We're talking low to maybe some mid-90s for some of the warmer spots. Otherwise, 80s to low 90s for the higher elevations and low to mid-60s for those of you along the coast. We look at your 7-day outlook, and you can see those temperatures are increasing for the valley, back up to well over 100 degrees by Thursday, and that continues at least going into the weekend before we start to see our temperatures drop early next week, but still pretty hot, right? The coast temperatures mid-60s, partly to mostly cloudy skies later on this week. The inland areas for Trinity County back up to about 100 degrees by Thursday and warming up a little bit more by Friday. Taking a look at Siskiyou, Modoc County, and the Eastern Mountains. Also seeing that increase in temperatures back in the 90s across the board for the mountains, at least by Thursday, if not sooner in some spots here, and may warm up a little bit even more so by the time we get into your Friday. All right, that's a look at your Krueger's Quickcast. I want to remind you there is a free 24-hour streaming channel that you have access to. It's available on Fire Stick, Roku, and anywhere YouTube is available. That includes your smart TV. You know, most likely if you buy a new TV these days, it's a smart TV, and all you have to do is connect it to the internet and you're good to go. And most likely, more likely than not, that smart TV will have the YouTube app. So all you have to do is go to the Weather NorCal YouTube channel, subscribe to it, number one, and number two, you can watch the 24-hour streaming channel and on demand watch the latest video forecast as well. All right, here's your fire weather forecast sponsored by Garmin's Tractor Service. Now, the winds, I'm not concerned about them. I just want to show them to you to just illustrate the fact that we don't really have anything happening. The winds, yes, pick up a little bit in the afternoon, especially in the eastern mountains. But here you can see not even getting up to 20 miles per hour even for the valley for the next couple of days. Now, the fire weather risk today was in the low to moderate range. We're starting to get more within that moderate range by tomorrow, and unfortunately, as those temperatures start to increase, we're going to get back into the moderate to even high, but barely getting in the high range, and I would expect to even see more orange on the map by the time we get into Thursday and Friday, as those temperatures do get up to that 105-degree mark in parts of the valley. So again, there is the area of low pressure, cooler air. That's what's starting things off fairly mild for us, at least to start off the week. But as this starts to slowly migrate back up to the north, the heat over the desert southwest will start to expand back into Northern California and we start to warm up. So there's that mile there heading up to the Canada region, right? Now we have another pocket of cooler air that's going to start to migrate from the north, but this is going to start to expand. It's going to get stronger. You see how it's moving closer and closer to us. That's when our temperatures start to increase. And now to expect the peak to be sometime around Thursday, Friday, then this mild air will start to kind of dive down to the south and it'll move a little bit closer to us. What that will do is start to push that heat back a little bit as we start going into early next week, and even more so by around Tuesday, Wednesday. So again, we peak around Thursday, Friday. We're still hot over the weekend, even early next week, Monday, but then we should start to see this begin to kind of push that heat off to our east, and we'll see an even bigger drop in our temperatures as we go through next week. So there again, you can see that peak Thursday, Friday, they start to gradually drop, but still over 100 degrees easily over the weekend. And then there you can see those mid 90s returning possibly by the middle and latter part of next week. So a bit of a mini roller coaster ride of the wheel. They kind of start to go up and then slowly work their way back down. A mini roller coaster ride, not a big deal. All right, so you can see, looking at Futurecast, once again, I do expect even tomorrow morning to see mainly clear skies for many of you along the coast, but there will probably still be some patchy fog out there. Tuesday afternoon, you've got sunny skies for the coast, maybe some afternoon puffy cumulus clouds in the mountains, but by Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, we're seeing that fog return most likely along the coast, and that will most likely stick around through a good portion of the day on Wednesday as well. Maybe some clearing near Crescent City and down into southern Humboldt County. Sunny skies for the rest of us, but again, maybe some afternoon cumulus clouds in the higher elevations. I wanted to show you the moisture content. Now, it's going to be dry, and it's getting drier as we go through this week. However, as high pressure starts to kind of come in from the desert southwest, what we're going to start to see, you see what's happening? We're starting to see a little bit of this monsoon moisture work its way to Northern California. Now, not a big fetch of moisture, but we're getting out of the blues and browns here and getting more into the greens and even some yellows. What this tells me is that sometime near the end of this week into maybe the beginning of the weekend, we may be able to squeeze out some showers or even a thunderstorm or two developing at that point. So let's take a look at Futurecast. You can see the flow around that low. Now see what's happening. Look at as we go into Friday, into Saturday. You see that? Little bit of a pop-up shower, possible thunderstorm, maybe sometime around, say, Friday evening into Saturday as well. So it's the area of low pressure, or excuse me, high pressure. That's got monsoon moisture associated with it. And sometimes if we get the positioning of that high, that can also help to transport some of that monsoon moisture northward. So I'm not terribly concerned about showers and thunderstorms for that matter, really, as we go into Friday and Saturday, but it is something I'll be watching here, especially for places like Modoc County, Lassen, and even Plumas counties and southward around the Tahoe region as well. I'll have to watch for that. Meanwhile, we take a look at our wave heights, and you can see they're not going to be changing much here over the next couple of days, so nothing to be concerned about there, just maybe some of that patchy, dense fog in some areas here. All right, here's a look at your neighborhood forecast, sponsored in part by Dignity Health. We start off with Trinity County with temperatures in the upper 80s to low 90s on average, so temperatures are starting to slowly increase. We take a look at your Dignity Health North Coast neighborhood forecast. Temperatures along the coast, mid 60s, 85 in Alder Point, 89 for Garberville, and Shelter Cove, about 70. We take you up to the north, about 89 degrees for Orleans. There's that increase in the temperatures back up to around 100 degrees by this upcoming Thursday. Your Dignity Health Siskiyou County neighborhood forecast. Your temperatures in the mid to upper 80s, 88 for Fort Jones, Etna about 87, and it looks like Mount Shasta City about 83. Temperatures also increasing there. That's also the case for Modoc County. You're back up into the 90s by Thursday, upper 90s by Friday, and then temperatures start to slowly drop as we go into early next week. Your Eastern Mountains neighborhood forecast, temperatures for your Tuesday, 70s and 80s. Susanville, you're getting close to 100 degrees by Friday and Saturday. Otherwise, temperatures do start to drop after that going into early next week. Your Dignity Health Valley neighborhood forecast, upper 80s still, I think, at some locations. Otherwise, we're getting back into the low 90s. As you can see here out in Chico, the high of 91, 97 by Wednesday, and we're back up over 100 by Thursday, Friday, and most likely even into the first half of the weekend. We take you up to the north with 93 degrees for Redding, 93 in Anderson, Red Bluff about 91. By Thursday, you're up to 104 in Red Bluff, and Redding, you're going to be up to about 106 degrees by Thursday. There's that peak, most likely around Thursday, Friday, as I mentioned. Temperatures just slowly dropping this weekend into early next week. All right, that's your evening update. I'll be back again tomorrow morning live on Coffee with Krueger at 6:30 and an update just before that at 6 a.m. Until then, have a great night.
At Wind River Resort and Casino, we like to celebrate life's little moments. Oh, and the big ones too. Because around here, when you're completely in the moment, that's when the magic happens. Come in and find your moment at Wind River Resort and Casino.